I am Dave the Amateur Magus. On this channel I talk all about the mechanics behind ceremonial magic, occultism, esotericism, and the mechanics behind everything you can find within a dusty old grimoire. If you enjoy what I do here and you want to support the channel, link in the description to the Patreon where I can get exclusive access to videos early, Patreon exclusive content, and the Occultic Manual series, which is a monthly write-up that I aim at being more instructional than what I have here on the channel, but less unapproachable than some of the old grimoires I like to talk about on the channel. If any of that is of interest to you, link in the description. Hope to see you all there. So today we're going to do a Q&A video because I've gotten a lot of comments on the new video, the strengths of spiritual paths I've encountered. I've been reading a lot of good comments recently. So first question, do you have a roadmap for people who were spontaneously thrown into a mystic state? And is the HGA the same concept as the diamond? Thank you for providing this content. It's very much appreciated. Well, the first thing is thank you for asking the question, and I appreciate your appreciation. I'm glad people are enjoying the content. Second, is there a roadmap for the people who are spontaneously thrown into a mystic state? Not really, other than just try to find a good path for yourself. The main issue with the mystic state is that you're not really going to have a severe, amount of resources, unfortunately, unless you're getting trained specifically by either the spirits, which can result in some very wacky interpretations of how things work, or alternatively, if you're getting trained by a teacher, if you're trying to become a kind of shaman, a teacher can really help you there. And the second question, the HGA, is it the same concept as the Greek diamond? No. It is a similar idea, but they are key in their differences. The first thing that you need to know about the diamond is that the diamond is basically the spirit of, the highest good you could do. It is basically, the spirit of you, or your genius, or whatever you want to call it. The HGA is flavored as being the aspect of God that is best for you to be directly working with. It is a messenger of God that is there to tell you what the best course of action is in all ways. Now, the second question is, why does nobody talk about Quareia? Well, the only people who talk about Quareia have not finished an initiatory system, in my experience. The only people who talk about Quareia are apparently the people who will see Quareia, get interested in the basics of Quareia, and then will ask about it constantly or talk about how great it is and then fuck off to a better, different system. So the main issue and the main reason you don't hear people talking about Quareia is because all of the people who are talking about, occultism online have no interest in Quareia, and the people who are doing Quareia are all not adepts and are still in the initiate process. Or there is some other third reason. I'll at some point do a video on the system, at least the parts that are free, because Quareia really does feel like the community college of occult initiation systems, in my personal opinion. But at some point I will do a video on that at some point, after I've actually had the time to read through every single book and actually write down my notes and my thoughts on it, and so I can actually reference them. So that'll be like the old book videos that I used to do a little bit more frequently when there was a lot of them. Because I've kind of covered most of them. Why do demons get something out of working with us? Or what do demons get out of working with us? This was on the Why Demons Exist video. So, historically speaking, there was a concept known as the Great Chain of Being. And the Great Chain of Being had demons right below humans, right above animals. Okay? The reason that is given in the Obermelon is that it is their punishment for, they have to, and it is their punishment for trying to rebel against God. Okay? Now, I personally am of the opinion that that is fairly accurate, I would say. But the main thing you need to know is that demons, if they don't work with us, basically get punished harder than if they do. The ceremonial magic approach to demons is that they are basically going through divine community service by dealing with God's most annoying 9-year-old. And then hopefully there's a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old who can actually, articulate what they want a little bit better every so often. And this is the adept magicians. But the thing is, if you don't know how to punish them, they can beat your ass and they can break every bone in your body and they can do a bunch of other stuff, right? And for those of you wondering, oh, demons are spirits, how can they break every bone in your body? They can direct you into incoming traffic and hit you with a car. That's specifically what I'm talking about for the particularly nasty ones. So yeah, just to rephrase, or just to restate and answer the question in a more succinct way, what do demons get from working with us? They don't get the crap beat out of them. That's the answer. There was also a lot of questions from that video about what is an ATR. That is African traditional religion. Basically anything that roots from the African continent is considered some form of an ATR. Whether it is a true ATR, I'll leave it up to the ATR practitioners to determine what the hell that means. I don't practice ATRs. But from the question that I got was, why do you think that ATRs are so much more prone to physical manifestations? Because a lot of them are necromancy based. Genuinely, there are a lot of ATR traditions that have some form of physical link. They're basically, from the outside looking in, a lot of their stuff is incredibly advanced ancestor and servitor work. There is some differences, and the differences are very, very, very important, but that's basically, I don't feel comfortable talking about it too much. That is just my impression. If at some point I get an ATR practitioner on, I'll make sure to ask him about it. Alright? Alright. And here is a fairly long one, so we will get started. Hi, Dave. I was wondering, do you think Christian Wicca is good for beginners? I am new to the occult, but I don't know anything about it. I grew up Christian for 20 years, so Christian stuff is all I know. I was wondering if you could let me know anything about Christian Wicca. I also wonder if there is more to learn other than Christian stuff. I have a hard life, so I need something that can give me hope when I am hopeless. So, if you want the Christian stuff to give you hope, the Spiritual Exercises of Saint Ignatius. Now, here's the main issue that I have. I live in the United States, and you have not listed what kind of Christian you are, so I'm going to assume you are either Catholic or Protestant. If you are Protestant, you are unfortunately missing 90% of the interesting material that comes in the form of all of the magical exercises. You're missing the 7 penitential psalms, you're missing the, spiritual exercises of Saint Ignatius, as I've mentioned, and those will allow you to learn a lot more about the metaphysical aspects of Christianity than they will me telling you about them in a short video. And I'm pretty sure you wanted to comment. Now, as for Wicca, my opinion on Wicca is this. If you can find a way to get initiated into Wicca, that's fine. If you cannot find a way to get initiated into Wicca, it is hot garbage. I remember the uninitiated Wicca trend of, early online occultism. Basically, it was chaos magic, then it became Wicca. Before there was people talking about being witches on TikTok, there was Wiccans, or people claiming to be Wiccans, talking on Tumblr. This is where you got such wonderful things as emoji spells and Let's Curse Trump. This was in 2016, by the way, now 10 years ago, roughly. Now, the thing about it is, if you get into initiated Wicca, it's usually pretty fine. Gardnerian or Alexandrian Wicca are usually pretty fine. I know that Wicca has some problems, but those are the 2 ways I would get initiated. Now, as for Christian Wicca, I have never, in my entire experience of being an occultist, found an authentic, quote-quote, Christian Wicca group. And the reason is because usually people who become Wiccans are trying to escape from Christianity, and people who are Christians think that Wicca is of the devil. Or they're not, like, willing to actually learn about it nearly as much as they need to. So, in my experience, everything relating to quote-quote Christian Wicca has been a scam from the Wiccans that I have talked to who are actually more well-versed in this stuff, the initiated Wiccans, not the uninitiated Wiccans. So, keep that in mind. I can't really guide you because I think it's a scam. That being said, that's all the questions I want to cover today. Hope everyone is having a good day. If you're not having a good day, hope your day gets better. Take it easy, take care, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.